I need to know what you guys would do if you found yourself in this crazy situation, right? My mom, she just dropped off my half-sister, which is 9 years of age. She told me that it's just going to be overnight because she was going out to a party. Okay, not a big deal. I mean, I'm not close to my half-sister. We never have been. She doesn't like me. It's clear, but I can get through a night. Well, when I woke up in the morning, I saw suitcases on the front door. So I was wondering, well, what's going on with this? Then I checked my phone. It turns out that my mom has gone to Italy. She'll be gone for months, and I'm going to be watching after my half-sister, which, by the way, neither of us knew. So you know what? Now I have to deal with her. Yesterday, when Mother begged me to do her a favor, I agreed to help even though I did not want to. I already had other plans, and I genuinely did not want to do what she was asking of me. But I still agreed because she seemed very desperate. But today I discovered that it might as well be the worst mistake of my entire life. Mother has put me in such a position that I don't even know what I can do anymore. So that's why I'm here to ask you guys what I can do or what I should do. Let me explain what happened in a bit of detail. My name's Sarah, and before my mother called me yesterday, I was living a happy life. Well, I had my own set of problems, as life is never without its challenges, but I was happy. I live with my boyfriend Steven, and we both work good jobs. I live a bit far away from Mom's place, and this was by design because I didn't want to live too close to her. I think the last line gave you the wrong impression, though. See, I don't hate my mother. Oh no, not Miley. I guess I didn't hate my mom until she pulled this crap. But I still wanted to stay a bit far from her because she does not like me much. Honestly, I think when I moved here, she was happier than I was. She also does not hate me fully, or I believe she didn't. But after an incident, she did start caring less about me. Till the age of, 12? I was raised by really loving parents. My mother and father really loved me and cared about me and tried to give me everything I wanted, no matter if they could afford it or not. Believe me, the cold and barely caring mother I have now was very different years ago. The worst thing in both of our lives happened and it changed her. I remember that day like it was yesterday. I've spent years trying to forget it, and I wanted to go to my favorite restaurant and eat a dish that I loved. Since Mother was busy with work and Dad and I were home, he told me that we should just go somewhere close and eat. We could drive at night when Mother came back, and I wish I had said yes and agreed, but I kept insisting that I wanted to have lunch there, and that we could go somewhere else with Mom. Dad tried a few times to tell me that it was quite far and even suggested that we do something else. But I refused to give up, and in the end he had to agree to my demands, and we went there. Dad informed Mom that we were driving there because I was insisting, and we left. We had a nice lunch, and I was enjoying our short trip very much. But while coming back, a car came towards us, and we got into an accident. I don't remember much after we got hit. I only remember getting pulled out of the vehicle and waking up at the hospital. I wasn't too badly injured. I had one broken bone, and I was very bruised. But then I learned that Father did not make it. I was devastated, and I cannot even tell you how long I cried. The only person I wanted to see was my mom, but she still did not come to see me for hours. When she finally came, I noticed that she was a bit different. And at first, I thought she just could not believe what happened. She loved Dad a lot, and I think even more than I loved him. So she was rightly shocked. But after that, she fully changed. She became a bit distant and cold at first, and I thought that she was just processing everything, and a little time she would turn back into the mom I knew. But that never happened. I tried to talk to her several times and ask her what's going on, but she just would angrily look at me and say nothing. This might sound a bit bad because she was going through the same thing I was, but I needed her to be there with me, but she just wasn't. She was constantly getting mad at me, and I did not know what I had done. One day, I pushed her a little too far. She told me that it was all my fault, and she screamed at me that if it were not for me, her love would be alive. And every time she looked at me, she was reminded of that fact. Well, this really hurt me, because that's the same thing I was telling myself, and I also blamed myself for what happened and was having a hard time. And with her also blaming me, moving on became almost impossible. But then I learned a very important lesson. No matter what you want, life moves on, and you just have to move on with it. I hated that she blamed me, but I could not do anything as it was my fault. All I could do was try my best to become a good daughter for her, and that I did. I tried to be a good daughter, but it was never enough for my mom. My mother just could never get over what happened to her ever. She did get a little less cold and start caring about me a little bit, but to this day, she has never forgiven me for that. And believe me, I've tried. I kept trying, but after many years, I realized it was not possible to get her back. So I stopped trying too much, and I was never mad at her for not forgiving me, as I understood her position, too. After many years, she got married again to my ex-stepfather, Brian. By this point, I was in college and had already moved out. I got a part-time job to support me, and I rarely came home. I liked Brian at first, but after a while, he became a bit distant too. Just like Mom, and currently, we have not spoken for years. They had a child together, Claire, who is my stepsister and is one of the main reasons behind this post. A few years ago, my mother got divorced from Brian, and I wish that I knew what happened between them, but neither of them really spoke to me, and I didn't pry. Since then, Claire has been staying with Mom. A few months after that, Mom gets married again to another guy she met and fell in love with, Chris. And until she got engaged, I had no idea she was even dating. The wedding was small, and obviously Brian did not come. I can't talk about how Chris is, as I barely know him, but Mom is happy with him, so I didn't care much about this. Now, lastly, let me mention the kind of relationship that I have with Claire, my stepsister. At first, it did not matter to me if she was my stepsister, as I treated her as my own blood. But as she grew, she became just like Mom and stopped liking me, even though I was only kind to her. After that, she also slowly grew colder towards me and now doesn't like me as much. Now that you know everything, let's just jump to what happened yesterday. So yesterday, which is Saturday, I was chilling and was waiting for my boyfriend to come back from the gym. I get a call from Mother. She rarely calls me, so I knew straight away that she needed something. She asked me how I was doing, and I was sure that she wanted my help, and I just asked her straight up. Tell me what she needed, and, well, she explained. She told me that the person who was going to take care of my stepsister had canceled at the very last minute, and there was nobody who could take care of her. She had tried every single person, and I was her last hope. She didn't even lie, and she told me that she and her new husband were going to a party the whole night, and she was going to pick her up tomorrow. I had a lot of plans already set up, and I did not want to force my boyfriend to spend time with my stepsister, who hated both of us, so I tried to refuse. But Mother begged and told me that I was her only hope and that she would do anything if I just did this for her. The way she asked me, I could not say no to her. She was so happy, and I was glad I decided to help her. I then told my boyfriend that I had to cancel everything and told him that he could still go if he wanted, but he chose to stay with me as he knew how tough that I would have been with Claire. It made me very happy. Mother then dropped Claire off around 1 o'clock, and she obviously was not happy that she had to spend several hours with me. Even though she doesn't treat me like a sister, I still care about her the same. I don't pretend to act like she's my sister, as I know she doesn't want that, but I still care about her. She got settled in and told me not to disturb her and started watching a movie. Mother left after thanking us, and now let's jump to this morning when I got the worst surprise of my life. A few hours ago, a person shows up at my place and gives me a suitcase and a big bag. He told me that it was Claire's stuff and told my mother, asked me to deliver this. I was confused, very, very much confused. So I called Mother and I asked her what was going on. She told me that she was going on her honeymoon with Chris to Italy, and she wanted me to take care of Claire for 2 months. 2 months. Not weeks, months. I almost laughed because it was absurd and asked her what she was speaking about. She told me that she was telling the truth and now was boarding the plane. She even sent me photos of her going, and I asked her how she could do this to me, and she told me to stop being emotional, that she was busy for a while and would call in a bit. This is where I'm stuck now. Mother has not picked up my calls, and I have called her 1,000 times. I have not told my stepsister, who's getting ready as she believes Mother is going to show up in a while. And I've also not told my boyfriend, who's probably going to freak out. We don't have the time to take care of a kid. We both work full jobs. What is my mom thinking? Guys, What can I do now? Update number 1. Hey guys, it's been a few hours since my initial post, and let me tell you what happened. Firstly, I want to thank the few people who responded so fast in order to help me. I'm very grateful for that, and now let me continue from where I left off. So after my mom dropped the bombshell on me that I had to look after my sister for a few months, she stopped picking up my calls, and after a while of trying, I got tired of it and asked you guys what I should do. Then, after a bit of thinking, I believed that I should first tell my boyfriend and stepsister, and then see what happens. Even though I didn't want to, I disturbed my boyfriend who was playing a game. I told him that I had some bad news. Well, he asked me what happened, and I told him that Mother had told me over the call, and then he gave me a very serious look, but then burst out laughing and said that it would not work on him. I told him, oh no, I'm serious. And then he asked me to stop making bad jokes because this had to be a joke. When I told him once more, this is the ultimate, unfortunate truth. He started to believe me, and he was having a tough time believing that anybody could do this. And then after a few minutes, he realized what this meant. He then starts freaking out about what we were going to do, and I told him I had no idea. He starts saying that we both could not afford to quit our jobs or take that long of a break, and started asking me if we could give her to someone or call Mom back. I asked him to calm down and told him that we would find a way to do this, as we would not be able to handle her anyways even if we had the time. I told him the worst case scenario would be that I would have to force my ex-stepfather to take her in, but since he lives far away, Claire would have to miss school. He then calmed down and tells me that we should think about this and talk to her about this before doing anything. I called Mother a few more times, but she did not pick up. I guess she was enjoying her flight, and I decided that it was time to talk to Claire. As soon as I tried to speak to her, she tells me that she would rather skip the awkward small talk, and in a few minutes she was going to be free from me anyways. At that point, even though I was messed up, I felt a little happy and now had the chance to tell her that she has royally messed it up. I told her I didn't want to make a small talk about telling her something important, and then I explained to her what Mother had told me and what happened. She immediately refused to believe it, and wasn't even going a bit of this, or, she wasn't giving in, until I showed her the suitcase and the bag that was delivered to me. She stayed silent, just for a few moments processing it, and then she starts freaking out. She told me that it was not possible, and her mother could not do something like that to her. She tried to make sense of what could have happened, but the more she thought about it, the more she freaked out. Yeah. She then starts calling Mom nonstop until I asked her to calm down. I then explained to her that I was not going to just kick her out and we were going to find a way. She then told me that she would rather pass away right now than spend one more day here. She then started saying how Mother could do this to her. I calmed her down and told her that we would figure something out. She told me that I might have misunderstood and told me that she would never do something like this to her. The way that she was speaking to me was annoying, so I told her that I didn't want to take care of her either. I had my own life to worry about, and Mom was the one making me do this, and that she could keep calling to confirm. But it would not change a thing. After that, she gets a call from Mom, and Claire answered. Hoping things were different, she asked Mother what she was doing. Mom replied that she had to listen to what I said and live with me, and this made her mad. Claire then screamed at Mom, telling her that she was not going to do what she wanted, and then gave me the phone. I put it on speaker, and Mom told Claire that if she did not listen to her, then she was going to disown her after coming back, and if I did not take care of her, she was going to cut me off forever. After this, she cut the call, but it turned out to be a huge mistake on her part, because right after this happened, Claire got so angry, she even teared up a bit, and she decides to reveal something to me. She told me that she knew a secret about Mom. She said that she had promised herself to never reveal it, but Mom deserved it now. She then told me that Mother had cheated on Claire's dad with the guy that she married recently, and she's also cheating on her current husband with Priest Rivian, who I never really thought would be the one. He's the priest of the church Mom visits every Sunday, and honestly, I'm shocked. I can't believe that she would do this. I mean, she's just told us this too, and we're figuring out what to do. What do you guys think that we should do? Update number 2. Hey guys, well, I'm back for an update, so I hope you're ready. It's been a few days, and I'll let you know what happened since last time. So last time, I did not have the time to process the things that she told me, and I just told you everything Claire said. So now let me explain more clearly what happened next. So my stepsister, after getting mad at Mom, revealed that she knew that her mom was a serial cheater. I don't think she ever cheated on Dad, but that was a different thing. Like I already said, after him she changed. But even though I now know that I found it hard to believe that she could ever cheat, Claire explained that she had figured out that Mom was seeing someone else even before the divorce happened with her father. But her cheating was not the reason for the divorce, as they just grew apart. But she never told her dad, and neither confronted her mom about this because she didn't want to break Dad's heart and did not want to tell Mom she knew. She loved Mom a lot and did not want to blame her for anything. So she kept it a secret, and later on she found out that Mom was also cheating on her now husband, who was a fiancé then. But Claire felt it was none of her business to talk to Mom about it. She didn't want to have this conversation with Mom. Honestly, that's not a debate a kid should ever have in her head. Mom has really messed up with her at this point, and I then told her that she did what she felt was best. It was the right thing to do. It was clear from her confession that Mom was definitely cheating. It was a surprising thing that she had become a person like this. But after her recent stunt, it all felt like something she could easily do. My boyfriend was listening to all of this with his eyes wide open, as he could not believe anything. And then we spoke about what we needed to do next. Claire then told me that we needed to contact her father, as he had no idea about what Mom had done to her and also about the cheating. She explained to me that the reason Brian, her father, and I grew up a bit apart was because Mom did not want us mixing. Turns out it was Mom who never let us get close, and after the divorce she lied to both of us that we did not stay in contact. Well, this made me further mad, so I called Brian and I told him the truth. He was very surprised and refused to even believe me. He told me that he knew I hated him, Mom's lies, and I just wanted to make him hate Mom. Then I put his daughter on the line, who told him the whole truth and apologized for never telling him all this in the past. Believe me, I could hear the surprise and pain in his voice, but this is what makes him a great father. See, you have to understand that not only did Claire let Mom cheat on him and never tell him, but she also chose Mom to stay with after the divorce, and she rarely let him see her. But even after all this, Brian was not even a little mad at Claire. She was scared, as she did not know what his reaction was going to be like. Frankly, even I was scared. But almost immediately after she told him everything, he asked her if she would be happy to move in with him. None of us could believe what we had just heard, and I asked him to repeat it. Well, he then repeated it, and Claire asked if he was not mad at her. He said that he was a bit hurt by everything that he heard, but he did not blame her. After that, he said that we should talk more after he came here. Yesterday, he took Claire, and she has sworn that she's done with Mom, but Brian and I are not. Give me a little time, and I'll tell you what we have planned. Update number 3. Hey guys, it's almost been a few months, and I apologize for the late update, but I had to wait. Let me tell you everything that happened. When Brian found out what happened, he was not mad at his daughter at all, but he was surely mad at Mom. And half of that anger was not even because of her cheating. When he came back to pick up Claire, he told us that Mom, had done some stuff. So Mom had made sure that we did not contact her, but she knew that Brian cared about me like he cared about his own kid. She then used this to take a lot of money from him. And every few months she would tell him that I needed money, and he would help. But since I never called, he just assumed that I just didn't care about him. She also took lots of money from her daughter, which she never used on Claire. Recently, she had taken a huge sum from him, claiming it was to take Claire somewhere far away, and had lied to go on her own honeymoon. He could not believe that she would be so careless and leave Claire with me, even though she knew that I did not have the time to look after a kid. So when we talked, he said that he was going to sue her for falsely taking money from him, and he was going to take the custody of his child from her too. I told him that I was going to support him and told him that I was going to try to find proof of her cheating and do something with that. He was happy to hear it and wished me luck, and then I called Mother one last time, but she refused to pick up. So me and Steven left to go meet Uncle Rivian. Well, we met, and Steve was secretly recording the whole meetup, And I just straight up asked old Rivian why he would cheat on his family with my mother, and he felt, well, any shame in it. He tried to deny it, but the fact that I was 100% sure told him that I knew. He then said that it was a mistake and he was not going to repeat, and all the excuses that cheaters make he made. I asked him if Mom had cheated with him for a long time or if this was just recent. He said they've been cheating since the start of this year. So right around the time Mom got engaged, I already had my evidence, so I just told him not to do that again. Then Stephen and I thought for a few days about what we should do. We made the decision to not hide Mom's cheating, as after doing all this, she was happily enjoying a long vacation. I sent evidence to her husband, who I assume got really mad, just because they immediately came back after cutting the short trip. So, he left her after coming back home and is currently divorcing her as we speak. Yep, Brian sued her and won, and she had to pay him a big old chunk of what she probably had as savings gone. Claire also went with him, and even though she begged her to stay, she didn't listen. Mom lost everything in the matter of a second, and she took it out on the priest. She told his family everything that happened, and he got a divorce and he was kicked out. Mom was living with her current husband, who kicked her out, and then she had nowhere else to go, and she tried to come to me to beg for help. But I made it crystal clear that I was done with her, and I explained to her that Mom and I so desperately wanted in my life, well, passed away with my dad. She was not the mom I wanted to spend my life with. And then she left. I've not seen her since, and I assume that she has moved to somewhere, I don't know. So that's about it. I want to thank you guys for all of your help.